Hi folks, my name's Jem, I'm the Crazy Pigeon Lady, and it's my mission to entertain, educate and inspire you with all things pigeon and dove. Welcome back to this, another one of my Fun Fact Fridays, in which I answer questions or share interesting facts about pigeons and doves. And this latest question I received from one of my YouTube subscribers. So to summarise, the question was, how long do pigeons live, and do fancy pigeons have mutations that limit their health or their lifespan in some way? So I hope to answer that here. First of all, in general, pigeons and doves as a species, of which there are over 300 different kinds, are not hugely well studied, so we don't have a lot of data to know how long lived they might be in general. And because they live in different environments and have different pressures that affect their life, then it's possible that some might be long-lived and some might be lived much shorter. In September 2020, a Karero, a New Zealand wood pigeon, returned to the bird park of its hatching after having escaped in 1996 and had been missing for 24 years. He was actually 5 years old at the time that he went missing, so he was almost 30 years old when he returned, and he's thought to be one of the oldest Karero. Now, the rock dove, Columba livia, which is a species I talk about a lot on this channel, being the species of pigeon that we have domesticated for the longest, we have a lot more data about this bird, and therefore we know that these birds generally live about 3 years out in the wild as feral birds. There's lots of dangers there, they're exposed to predators, they don't get a very good diet and things like that, so they'll only live about 3 years. However, pigeons kept in captivity will live on an average of about 10 to 15 years and possibly very much longer. And if you check out my Fun Fact Friday video, Who was the oldest pigeon, to find out more about Kaiser, you'll find out just how long domestic pigeons can live. So let's talk a little bit about fancy pigeon mutations and how they might affect their life. Fancy pigeons are subject to a lot of different mutations that affect their appearance. There are mutations which cause them to have feathered feet. There are mutations that cause them to have different types of feathers, perhaps curled feathers, perhaps extra feathers in their tails like the fantails. There are also other mutations that affect things like their beak, shortness of their beak, or the shape of their head, or the size of their eyes. Now, none of these mutations in fancy pigeons are known to affect their health as captive birds and shorten their life in any specific or particular way, unlike some other types of animals where certain breeds are subject to particular health conditions as a result of their inbreeding. However, this is not the case in fancy pigeons. But whilst these mutations don't shorten their life or affect their health per se, they do affect their survivability as wild birds. So birds with feathered feet or cumbersome fanned tails might be more prone to being caught by predators. Certainly short-faced breeds with very small beaks are actually unable to feed their own young, and when kept in a loft are actually supported and have their young raised by other breeds of bird which don't have short beaks and are called feeders, who raise their babies for them. So there you go. Whilst we don't have a lot of data on many species of pigeons and doves, the Columba livia rock dove is well studied, and we do know that they live about 3 years in the wild, or on average 10 to 15 years in captivity. And those fancy pigeons and their various mutations, while they're not affecting their lifespan, do affect their survivability as wild birds, which is why if you have fancy pigeons, they only really thrive well in captivity and would not be safe in the outdoors. I hope that's been of interest. Join me again in the future for another Fun Fact Friday. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can find out about my next Crazy Pigeon Lady video. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.